Let's get into it. Joe Rogan sits down with Sebastian. If you guys don't know who Sebastian is, he is a great comedian, very theatrical, severely Italian. This guy, severely Italian with the hands and the talking and the very, very Italian. But in this clip that I'm about to show you, Joe Rogan's just talking about how violent he would have to get with someone if they acted up on a plane. And you know what? It's because they're talking about a certain story that's happened recently where a man actually tried to attack another man on a plane. And when I tried to look for this story, so many of these stories popped up. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, the mentality, what's really going on, not just with the person who's flipping out on the plane, but the people who are on the plane as well. It's very interesting stuff. Now, let's get into this right here. Don't forget about the new channel. We got 76 videos up if you want to binge on that. I break away from the Rogan content. We talk about all sorts of stuff. BLM sues George Soros, Ben Shapiro's new dangerous enemy, Ryan Garcia, the con man. Yeah, I said it. I got no problem saying it. Completely unhinged liberal. COLIN gets owned again. There's all sorts of stuff. Hit that subscribe button. There is a link in the description. And other than that, let's get into this Rogan clip.
Escape rooms are fun. They're fun.
I'm claustrophobic. And this just happened to me recently.
Well, don't get that tank then. Don't get in that sensory deprivation
tank. I don't know
tank.
if I could do that. It happened to me on an airplane.
Oh, no.
Sitting at the window seat. It just overcame me. I gotta get out of here. And
oh, no.
Ever since then, like I have to have an aisle seat if I go to a theater and watch a show. I can't be confined. Even
this came out of nowhere?
Out of nowhere. On an airplane.
Wow.
And I had to go in the back for 2 hours and hang out with the flight attendants and stand the rest of the time.
Wow.
So
did you tell them what was going on?
Yeah, I said, listen,
I'm freaking
so
out.
You know, I'm crawling out of my skin. I'm sitting next to two people. I feel like I'm trapped. I can't get out. So I'm very anxious now if I get on an airplane. And here's one.
Okay.
Get on an airplane. I hate to do this, but there's a family, and the father's like, do you mind changing seats so my daughter could sit next to me? I said, well, where's the seat? And he's like, it's the window seat. And I go, I can't go over there because I'm claustrophobic. And of course he was looking at me like I was making it up because I would have.
Right.
You know, I mean, if somebody told me that, I go, this fucking asshole won't let me sit with my daughter.
Right.
But it's so bad where I can't sit at the window.
Well, he could always ask somebody else. You know, he could just ask someone else.
Yeah, but
you were by yourself.
I feel like I let him down.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. Yeah.
I'm never that guy. I'm always very cooperative. Whatever
me too.
we need.
I'll always move seats.
Yeah.
I'm always worried about other people freaking out. Like there was a video that just went viral recently of some guy saying he was going to take the plane down. This guy stood up in the middle. You see that guy, Jamie? I've seen a few. I don't know. There's a few lately. That's what I always worry about. I worry about someone freaking out. I worry about another person that you're going to have to deal with.
I feel though if somebody's freaking
I think he stabbed people. Didn't he stab someone? He had like a little knife on him and he stabbed a couple of people. Yeah, he was saying that he was going to take everybody out. Like, oh, God.
I feel if you're on an airplane and that's happening, you would be one of these guys that would handle it, right?
Yeah, the problem with handling it is you're probably going to get sued and you might even get arrested. It depends on how much damage you do. You know, you could permanently damage someone. People are very flippant about beating people up, but you could easily permanently damage someone.
No, I believe me. I believe you can. I'm just saying you have that. I think that instinct. You know, like what's the problem? Where I have more of an instinct of, is there a Joe Rogan on the plane?
I was on a plane once and a lady asked me if I would help her because these two guys were fighting. One guy got in first and he put his briefcase above this other guy's seat and then he sat down. And the guy who was right behind him goes, no, that's my spot. That's my seat. That spot over here. He goes, no, it's not. It's first come, first serve. Put it somewhere else. It was open. I put it in there. And he goes, no, that belongs to my seat. And then they started getting like belligerent with each other. It started getting like to the point where like, oh my God, these kids are going to fight in first class. And so then this fucking lady who is the flight attendant, she came in and told them both she was going to have them removed from the plane, sit down, shut up. And then she came to me and she goes, if anything goes down, you're going to help me, right? I was like, what do you want me to do? Because if I'm going to help you, it's going to get real messy. Are you going to say that you said it was okay for me to do that to that guy? Like I'm not gonna play nice. If you're on a plane and you've got to take someone out, you have a very short amount of movement. It's got to be very violent. You got to debilitate them. You got to like take them apart right there. You can't like hope that you can hold on to them and then they relax. Then what? You go back to your seat. They're not gonna. You got to put them out.
Yeah.
You got to risk. You got to risk.
As you're talking to me, I feel like you're going through a bunch of different moves of what you could possibly do.
It's got to be violent. If you got a guy like that with a knife, you're not grabbing that guy. You're not just grabbing that guy and bringing him to the ground and holding him down. You're gonna beat his fucking brains in. You're gonna stop his body from moving, because otherwise it's dangerous. Like you're in a position where you're being forced to use violence against some irrational, possibly schizophrenic, who knows what the fuck's going on with this guy, and he could kill everybody. Pastor stabs fellow traveler with weapon of pens and rubber bands on Seattle to Vegas flight.
Okay, so what's going on?
He fashioned a handmade weapon before launching an unprovoked attack against a man seated across the aisle. Yeah.
Flying used to be...
Look at his pen. So he made a weapon out of his pens. He tied all his pens together and held on to them. Wow. He said, I planned on attacking and killing him, the defendant stated. Jesus Christ. Defendant felt the mafia had been chasing him the last few months. Yeah, so you go. So he's schizophrenic, and, they don't have fucking scans for that when they bring him in. During the interview, the defendant admitted to the FBI agents that he was trying to stab CR in the eye to reach CR's brain to kill him. Okay.
And said he was protecting his 7-year-old son, so that's awesome.
The victim's wife was also hurt in the attack, as she was shielding the couple's 7-year-old son. Jesus Christ, man. So this guy just decided that this guy was in the mafia that was coming after him, and he snaps and he wants to kill him.
What's going on airplanes? Why is there all this violence now on airplanes?
First of all, there's a lack of respect for authority that came with the whole defund the police thing. So there's like people are more belligerent towards authority. So you have that. And then you have the general heightened level of anxiety of the population post-COVID went up substantially. COVID fucked a lot of people's lives up. We got lucky. We were very fortunate. We make money. We were able to make money during the pandemic. We had enough money to be okay. A lot of people, that's not the case. So many people lost their businesses. So many people lost their livelihoods. So many people have a deep distrust for the government and the world now. And then there's this thing where people are being coddled for being mentally ill, where you're almost like having a mental illness is something you can talk about. It makes you interesting. So I think people encourage mental illness. They encourage breakdowns, and they do it all the time in the real world, and so they think they could do it on fucking planes. And then you got genuinely mentally ill people who are just out of their fucking minds, who really shouldn't be out there in the world, and they think the mafia is after them, and they're making a fucking handmade shank while they're sitting in 16A. The whole thing's nuts. And it's just like, I think people are just much more on edge right now than they've ever been before. And I think a lot of it is a function of mainstream media. You're being fed every day the worst shit that's happening in the world. Gaza, Ukraine, the fucking ocean's boiling. Oh my God, what is happening? Putin's doing this, and Xi Jinping is in control of that, and the fucking border's open. Fentanyl. It's just like everyone's on edge. So you get all those people, you stick them in a fucking tube. And then you fly them through the air where there's no one there's no authority figure on that plane. There's these women, these poor women or men or whoever they are, that's flight attendants, that have to fucking deal with these people. And most of them are just regular people. They're not, they do have those guys that hide undercover that are on planes occasionally. What do they call those guys?
Marshals?
Yeah, what do they call them?
Air marshals.
Air marshals.
I think they stopped doing that.
They stopped doing that? Oh, great. Of course they did.
All the security, right? To go to the airport. All the security to get on the plane. Once you're on the plane, no security. Like they got security guy walking around Whole Foods making sure you don't steal an apple.
Right.
Yet you're 35,000 feet up, and the flight attendant's gonna subdue a guy with pens?
Right. Exactly. And who's gonna get hurt along the way? What if he did stab that guy in the eye? Like Jesus Christ. Even Mike Tyson got in a fucking fight on a plane. Some guy kept fucking with him. He turned around and beat the shit out of the guy, and now Mike's getting sued.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that guy should go to. They should ship that guy somewhere where it's terrible. You got to live here now.
What's your take on this Tyson thing?
I go back and forth. I don't.
The Tyson fight. I think. I'm not gonna lie. I think all Jake Paul's fights are staged. I don't think they're fake like WWE, but I think there's a conversation about what's gonna happen and that the hits are real. But he always organizes it in a certain way. I don't believe anything that those Paul brothers do. Nothing they say, nothing they do. at all. But aside from that, just getting right into the Mike Tyson incident when he was on a plane, the guy who messed with Mike was actually on mushrooms. If you could believe that. Can you imagine? You have no idea. Listen, you've never done. It's just, if that's the thing you get into, and then Mike Tyson hits you a bunch of times, you probably wouldn't even think it was real. You'd be like, that didn't actually happen. Something else must have happened. Especially if you can't see your face and there's no blood. You're just like, nah, that didn't happen. I thought it did, but it didn't. I probably bumped my head into something. You wouldn't actually believe that just happened. It would be the scariest thing in the world. Even a regular person grabbing you and shaking you would be like alarming. But Mike Tyson, absolutely crazy. But I love that clip just because there's few clips. There's actually only one other clip where Joe Rogan himself is talking about getting violent. The other clip is when he's sitting with Bill Burr. And there's actually a gentleman who's yelling at these kids. It's a video they're watching. It's a guy on a bike, and he's yelling at these kids, and I think a mom. And then the girl has some pamphlet, little girl, she's like 10, and he rips it away from her. And Joe's just like, oh man, if that was my daughter, I'd go to jail. I'd go to jail. And he gets like real, like, he starts thinking. He gets quiet for a second. You know, he's the host of a show. He gets quiet for a second, and Bill Burr's like, come back to me, Joe. Come back to me. Come back to me. You're going into that place. Don't go into that place. He's like, I'm just saying it would get really bad. And I have to say also, I would love to see Rogan fight. You know what I mean? He spends all this time tweaking it, you know, perfecting it, black belt here, national champion there. I taught GSP how to kick properly, a little tutorial. I would just love to see him have to, like, what would he do? You know what I mean? He could choke somebody. He could kick the living everything out of them. He could do all sorts of things. I would just love to see that. Just to see what he could do. In actuality, that is... Because I know I'm going to meet him one day. I know I am. One day I'm going to meet him. And that's the thing that scares me the most. Is that if he doesn't like me, and he doesn't like this channel, that he could hurt me really bad. And I know, I'm a worrier. I worry about things that don't matter. I worry about that sometimes. I'm like, is he going to hurt me? Because he could. He could hurt me. You know, he has enough money to make it go away. I'm like, is he going to? I think that all the time. I know. It's a dumb thing. It's dumb. I know. Anyway. No security on planes. Absolutely ridiculous. The thing that he just touched on. People encourage freakouts. Oh, I wish I had the clip. Encouraging freakouts and breakdowns is so true. Let me just see if I can find it really quick. People in the forest raging. Let me just see if I can find it. No, you can't. There are these things where you go out. It's like a retreat. And you scream and smash things. And it's a bunch of housewife-looking women that do it. And I was watching it and I'm like, that's good. Like, they're going to get so used to rage and how good it feels that they're going to do it to a person eventually. Like right now they're just smashing sticks on the ground in a forest. But I don't know, man. Society is really not just embracing victim mentality, but also just, freaking out, screaming, doing whatever it is that you want because you have XYZ. Oh, I have this, so I scream at that. It's so weird to see how much we're embracing it. But let's get a close-up of the articles that Joe and Jamie were looking at. This is the article that they were talking about. Gentleman's name is Julio Alvarez Lopez. Handmade pens. Can't really show his face all that much. There's the pens right there. You know, very, very interesting. Let's watch a little article about this.
New at 11, the FBI is investigating a bizarre attack that happened on a flight from Seattle to Las Vegas. Investigators say the suspect made a weapon of several pens wrapped together. Cameras Ryan Sims is live from SeaTac Airport with this story. And Ryan, prosecutors say this was a random attack.
And Mary, not only that, but according to court papers, it was also premeditated with that pen weapon being constructed before that flight even left here at SeaTac. These pictures show the terrifying extent of this plain pen attack. Como News is not naming or showing you the victim, but as you see here, he suffered major injury around one of his eyes after being stabbed repeatedly with this makeshift shank.
That is crazy. I mean, and the seats are so small, so having someone just right next to you and then doing that.
The incident happened January 24th. According to these newly released FBI documents, a man named Julio Lopez started to punch and stab a random passenger with this pen weapon. Witnesses said he then moved up and down the cabin, screaming, "I'll only talk to the FBI." Passengers then said Lopez willingly sat down in an empty seat where flight crew restrained him. As news of this assault goes viral, SeaTac passengers told Como they were not surprised it happened.
I'm a social worker, so no. I've seen the crazy and the ugly.
You got to travel, and some people are ready to make unnecessary actions.
According to court papers, Lopez was convinced that the victim was a cartel member who was following him. As a result, he allegedly told FBI agents, "I planned on attacking him and killing him." And Lopez is now in a Las Vegas jail facing a charge of assault with a deadly weapon. As for the victim in this case, it's interesting. He is an off-duty law enforcement officer, and immediately following this attack on the airplane, court papers say that he ordered the suspect to sit down even after that victim had been attacked.
Even after that victim had been attacked. What he just said didn't make any sense. You know that? You notice that? That didn't make any sense. He said he ordered him to sit down even after that victim had been attacked. What does that mean? Because the victim, he was the victim. He's talking about, am I the only one that picked up on that? That's why I don't watch mainstream news. You see that? They think they can just say whatever they want to us. They think they can just be like, hey, it's Monday, do your Thursday dance, and we're all going to be like, oh, it's Thursday? Sorry. Oh, Thursday dance. I'm telling you, man, they don't think much of us. I'm kidding. He's basically a guy like me. He just messed up a line, that's all. But very, very interesting stuff. He thought the guy was in the mafia. He attacked the wife. He attacked the guy's wife. The wife had to protect the son. Listen. I know a lot of people say it. I know. But if a guy has pens and I'm on the flight, hey man, I got pens too. Yeah, I got pens too. Let's go. You got a pen? You got a pen? I'm just not gonna let you poke me in the eye. What, are you kidding me? I'm just saying. I know. Everybody says, oh, I would do this, I would do that. I would do something. And you know what? You actually have to do something because you're on a plane. Because the other option is that the maniac gets to take over the plane. Listen, the maniacs have already taken over women's locker rooms, washrooms. They've already taken over schools. They've taken over all sorts of things. They've taken over the border. They've taken over the White House. They're not taking over the plane that I'm in. No, it's too much. There's maniacs everywhere. It's nuts. I would have to do something. And like Rogan said, because it's kind of like when somebody steals from a store. I'm sure you've seen videos of someone taking a whole shopping cart of groceries, and then one of the workers stops them. Everybody, sadly, the thought that everybody has now is that employee's probably going to get fired. It's ridiculous, but it's true. We all think it. We know it's not right, but we're all used to it. So what's going to happen to you if you actually do something to the crazy person on a plane? You know? They should just come in and be like, good job, son. Good job. You okay? You all good? Need a bandage? No? But they're going to be like, oh, well, we're going to have to see what's going to happen to this guy. And, we just got to put you in cuffs for the time being. And it's like, what? I just saved 100 people's lives. I know, but it's just, we just have to do it. And, we're going to tase you right now. What? Huh? You just get tased. Sorry, it's just protocol, It's weird. All the good people are getting demonized. Good actions are getting demonized. But when he just talked about Rogan, when he talked about encouraging breakdowns and freakouts, I'm going to play another clip right now of another freakout. What that is, in my opinion, you think of Yuri Bezmenov, that's the demoralization. right? When he was talking about how they constantly show you Gaza and this thing and that thing, like you notice that there's thousands of Americans that are concerned with Israel and Palestine. That's not good, and it causes a demoralization and it causes a destabilization. I've already called out the destabilization at length in regards to the protests that have been going on. BLM, same thing, a lot of destabilization. But when they show you those images over and over again, it's a demoralization tactic. And they do it to the entire population. They're constant, like look at the news, look at what you see. It's constantly demoralizing. You have to take an active stance on your social media and your YouTube and your algorithms. You have to take a real stand to make your algorithm show you good things. You really, really have to make a huge effort for that to happen. Because if you just let it go, just random, default, it'll just show you terrible things. And it'll get progressively worse and progressively worse. And in my mind, that's something that they want. They like us in that state. But check this out.
Satan raping women and children and putting them in the garbage can. Because that's what you are. I'm Balthazar. Because by God, Balthazar. Yeah, great. So where's the Homeland Security with the gun? Because I'm waiting for them to point the gun at me so I can show everybody that I won't die when I take every bullet in that clip to wherever in my body they shoot it, and then I will kill every man on this plane. So where are they? Where's Homeland Security? Pull the gun. Pull the gun. Where are they? You don't have Homeland Security. You're not gonna try and stop me then, huh? So you're all cowards. Okay. You know what? Because you're going to see them shoot me down and I'm going to get back up. Hey, I'm Balthazar. Hey, baby. Hey, Bianca. I love you, Bianca. I'm coming for you. Bianca. No Homeland Security? With Balthazar on the plane? My dad lied to all of you. My father called himself Dracula from the beginning of... Why are you even talking? Shut up, Jason. Just shut up. Nobody cares what you say. Yeah, he's been ruining humanity. If you're a human... No, shut up and sit down, please. No, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Where's Homeland Security? There should be Homeland Security. Step away from me. I don't care if I'm scared of you. I don't care. I don't care. The women will be fine. Sit back down. Why are you scared? Why should you be scared when you have God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit? Well, tell them to bring SWAT to shoot me down, because they're going to have to shoot me down today. Remember that. Where are they diverting us? Because wherever it is, there's going to be a bloodbath everywhere. You can run away. You can all run away if you want. If you're men, you can run. I won't kill you.
This is crazy. This happens way more often than you'd think. I searched this up because I didn't know exactly what to search when I was looking for the article that Jamie pulled up. There's just hundreds of these. People just freaking out. And here's the thing. I just have to be straight up about this. When this guy's saying this, and these ladies come to subdue him, okay? Listen, we're traditional in this house. I can smell my wife cooking dinner right now, and that's how it works. I do the work, she cooks the dinner, she takes care of the baby. We're very traditional in this house, okay? The men have to stand up. And I know it's asking a lot, but this guy's saying he's going to hurt people. And there are 3 men behind him and 3 men in front of him and a bunch of men on the side of him. They all have to just stand up and say, you're not doing anything like this, man. It's so odd. I was about to film a video, my wife bringing home groceries. I'm like, I got to I have to bring them in. And the baby. Go inside. That's it. That's how it works. We have to be men. Is that, you know what I mean? You can't look at certain men and be like, you know, trans types, you can't look at them and say whatever you want to say about them and then also take this feminine role when you're on a plane and you're scared that this one guy's saying a bunch of stuff. I'm just saying, if there's no actual air marshals or anything, then it's you. Like, it has to be you. You have to do something about this. You're just gonna let him? Because in this video, he actually goes off and he actually ends up stabbing somebody. It could have easily been prevented. Look right here. Look, those are 3 able-bodied men right there. Jeez. Whoa. Another video popped up. Sorry about that. Oh, no. We're not playing that video. Stop that. Stop that right there. But there's 3 able-bodied men right there. They could have easily just stepped up and been like, you're not doing this, man. Even this guy's wife had to protect her son. This guy, Julio. Oh, no. Julio's the victim. They didn't want to release the other guy's name. But in the case that Joe Rogan was talking about, this other guy had to step in. Like this guy's wife had to do the defending. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. There's a bunch of guys like, hey, you have to step in. You have to. You know, I was having this conversation with my friend, and we were at odds because I was watching. I think I brought this up before. I sent him a video of somebody who was robbing one of the Walmarts. You know, like as you do on a Thursday afternoon. You know. They were just taking a whole cart of something, and the employees knew they couldn't do anything because they get fired. And one gentleman decided, I'm not going to let this happen. This place might be a big box business, but it's in my community, and I'm not having this happen, okay? Because it's running amok. So he just grabs the guy's cart, he throws the cart back into the Walmart, and he tells the guy to get out of here. And right away, my friend's like, oh, he shouldn't have done that. Yeah, just let the guy steal, you know? There's a conversation I had where I realized, you ever have a conversation you realize your friend's a socialist? You ever realize that? That happened to me. I was like, oh, this guy's a socialist. This is weird. Because he was like blaming, he's like, oh, it's the structure, man, and this is it's America, and this is how it's set up, man, and it's their fault. And I was like, no, it's just your community, and you just defend your community, and you come together, and even if it's a Walmart, you make sure that the Walmart doesn't get robbed in front of women and children in your community. You just make sure that doesn't happen in your community. You step up. And he was like, no. And I was talking about how that lacked integrity, and of course he got mad. That's how socialists are. They get mad when they're told that they lack integrity about things. They're like, I have integrity. I just want the system and everyone who's a part of it to collapse into chaos. And it's like, oh, well, that's not integrity. That's demonic, actually. So it just triggered that same thought process. You see a bunch of guys on a plane. There's one guy who's flipping out. It's like, you got to stand up. You got to do something. And it's going to be really scary. And you might get hurt. But, you know, the plane lands. The plane lands. And then you get to where you are. And you get to see your wife and kids. And everybody else on the plane gets to see their wife and kids. I don't know. But again, all in all, I can't wait to see Joe Rogan get into that type of situation. Hopefully, I'm not at the other end of it. But I just found that clip very interesting, where he's talking about how violent it would have to get. What do you think Joe Rogan would do in that situation? And listen, I know there's gonna be some people, he wouldn't do nothing. You wouldn't do nothing. Yeah, right, bro. This guy has way too much stuff at his disposal. I have very little Muay Thai training, and I can think of 6 things I would do to a guy like that. This guy's a black belt, knows Muay Thai extensively, jiu-jitsu, taekwondo. There's so many things that this guy could do. What do you guys think he would do? In the comment section, let me know. This is one of the funner episodes. That's right, plane. You know, people getting attacked on planes. For me, this is one of the funner episodes because I've been looking into some deep, weird, dark stuff lately. So this one was a little bit of a breather from all of that. You know, BLM is suing George Soros, right? I showed you at the beginning, that other video I did on the other channel. BLM is suing George Soros. This, I don't think people understand. You can go watch the video on my other channel, link in the description. I don't think people understand. Right, and this is what's freaking me out, is that it's not a conspiracy anymore. And I don't mean it's not a conspiracy like, haha, I told ya. No, it's not a conspiracy anymore. Like, I found, so many people have too. I can see the money trail. I have seen it. You can actually see it. Them suing a George Soros funded foundation shows that they actually were working in line with George Soros. It's not a conspiracy anymore. And that's the thing. You think that when a conspiracy becomes reality, you think you're going to be like, yeah, haha, I knew it. No, it makes the world darker. You know what I mean? It just made everything darker. I'm like, oh, this is real. This actually does happen. So there is a guy who has a foundation that pays a foundation that activates and causes destabilization throughout the nation. What? Man. Anyways, that's my TED Talk, guys. I gotta go. I can smell dinner. Subscribe, like the video, notifications. It helps tremendously. You have no idea. And other than that, I'm out.